Let's get into it. Coach Colin news here. Biden voters are feeling like they are being gaslit in regards to the economy and how much it's thriving, according to the Biden administration. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to show you a clip right now, actually from MSNBC. I love showing mainstream media when they have to show the real truth. When they have no choice, it's usually when they have some regular people involved in panels and stuff. They have no choice to show the real truth. It's the best. I'm going to be showing you that. Then I'm going to show you a clip from the press secretary. And then I'm going to show you another clip from her because she's the most interesting person to listen to. Really is. And then I'm going to show you a clip of straight up reality. And I'm sure a lot of you, most of you probably already feel that reality, because when somebody says the economy is just booming and it's doing so well and there's so many jobs, it's not translating into the streets. That's fun to say when you're in front of a bunch of journalists and you never have to interact with the regular population of the world. But when you're out there in the real world, everybody can feel that the economy is not doing that good. Let's get into it. Let's start with this clip. Like I said, here we go.
I want to show two more. The undecided voters were also asked how they think President Biden is doing on the economy. Take a listen.
I think he's been absolutely disastrous for the economy.
I agree.
Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody. President Biden argues that his economic record has been very good. Said President Trump's was not as good. What are you keying off of, Sean? Since you had the best smile, and Virginia had the second best smile. What are you keying off of to say President Trump's economic policies would be better for you?
My past performance of my 401k. I know it was post 2020 and everything kind of flipped around, but you can't blame everything on 2020 for forever.
We have areas here in Pennsylvania where it's just at a standstill right now. Like, things are supposed to be being built and the interest rates are just way too high for people to invest and start moving around.
And Virginia, just staying with you because Pennsylvania is near and dear to Joe Biden's heart. Are there Biden policies that you would blame for the problem? And if so, what are they?
The interest rate is so high right now, and I know they're trying to cut the inflation down, but like, if nobody is building, no businesses are really coming to Pennsylvania right now to keep us moving forward.
Even if you're trying to buy a house, because I'm trying to become a first-time home buyer, the prices are so high right now. It's just hard.
Is there anything Joe Biden could do or say between now and the time you vote that would make you feel differently about feeling that his policies would not be as good for your family on the economy? Or are you pretty much decided that Trump's policies would be better for the economy?
I mean, I feel like he doesn't even take accountability for what's going on in the economy. Not even accountability, like he's in denial that it's happening.
The point is Biden needs to hear the people, because when he's talking about the economy doing stellar, he's talking about the stock market. He's not looking at homelessness or joblessness. He's not, at Agee's point, and thinking about how much it costs to go to the grocery store. And he's gaslighting literally everyone in the process.
Okay. And Omar, you voted for Joe Biden last time, right?
Yeah.
Some really important and hard insights for the Biden campaign to hear there. And hearing all that, you might think things are pretty bad for President Biden. That was not good.
Oh man, at least she owned up to it, Usually they try to do the whole song and dance thing. Like, well, the thing about it is all those people on the panel, they were all racist. They were all misogynistic, even the women. I mean, I just have to say it. And then Joe Scarborough comes in. He's like, Trump is gonna kill people. And you care about groceries? There's no groceries when you're dead. That's Joe Scarborough. That's him on a relaxed day, Joe Scarborough. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the press secretary. Let's hear her speak. Always eloquent.
On the economy, does the president still have the same level of confidence that he's had that the U.S. will get through this banking crisis, get through this high inflation without going into a recession?
Look, the president has complete confidence in the process, in his economic policy. If you think about it, when we look at when we look at how strong the economy is, it's because of the president's work, what he's been able to do, building an economy from the bottom up, middle out. And you see that with the jobs that's been created, more than 12 million jobs just last month in the jobs report. We saw 300,000 jobs created, and that continues because of the work that this president has put forward, because of these historic economic policies that have passed under this administration. So we do not see, because of what I just laid out, we do not see a recession or pre-recession. We see a strong economy, and it's because of the work that this president has done.
Well, we all know who writes Kamala's speeches now, huh? If you were ever wondering who writes those amazing speeches that Kamala always puts out, it's her. She's the one that just writes it. Today it's raining because the rain comes from the sky and also from the ground because it goes into it. And usually when it rains, it's wet outside. But today it's dry because we all dry our tears. That's better than anything she's ever come up with, by the way. But going back to the first clip, it's very interesting that one gentleman voted for Biden, and now he feels a little ripped off. He feels like he's being gaslit. Obviously, they don't want to ask him the golden question because this is MSNBC, but who do you think he's going to vote for now? For sure he's going to vote for Trump now. If you're using language like this president gaslit me, he's gaslighting me about the economy, he doesn't care about how much it costs to buy groceries and things like, once you're saying that, you're done. Those two guys that spoke, even the women as well, they're all going to vote for Trump now. They just are. Everybody would respect it more if the administration just apologized. If they just went, it's really hard to make a good economy. It's really, really hard. And it was better before, and we're going through some things now, and we're trying to turn it around. At least everybody would be like, okay, fine. But when you just come and you're just like, I'm just going to send this lady out and she's going to spit out word salad and she's just going to say that the economy is better than it's ever been and she's just going to do that all the time, that doesn't make it so. It's crazy. See, and that's the thing. This administration, for the most part, for most people, for most Biden voters, won't offend you. There's no mean tweets. This gentleman's statesmanly, all of that stuff that they always say that they don't like about Trump. But the results, I've talked about this so many times, the results. How were people feeling back then? It wasn't that bad. You could look at gas and be like, that's fine. That's fine. Now you look at gas and you're like, this is crazy. I'm only going to work and back. That's it. That's all I can do. And then there's a whole theory that that's all they want you to do. That's for a completely different episode, but there's a whole thing, 15-minute cities, this, that. They actually just want you to kind of stay put. They want you to go to work and come home. But let's play another clip. The press secretary once again explaining how great the economy is.
On lowering prices, you said earlier that the actions the president has taken have worked. So is it your sense that when people were home for Thanksgiving, catching up with their family members, they were saying to each other, can you believe how much more affordable things have gotten?
So honestly, I wouldn't, I hear the question, but I want to make sure this is very clear. We take that very seriously. We take what families, the decisions that they make at their kitchen table, whether it's during Thanksgiving or whether it is every month as they're trying to make hard decisions about how they move forward with taking care of their family. We take that very seriously. It's not a joke to us. It is important to us. This is the president who talks about it in a very personal way when he talks about what families have to go through, working families, middle-class families, and that's why he's taking actions that he has. And so, look, the fact is, the data shows that the economy is improving. The data shows that households remain in a strong financial position. Household wealth is at a record high, with lower income households seeing the largest gain since the pandemic. Those are indeed what we're seeing. But we don't take lightly. We do not take lightly what Americans and families continue to feel. That's why the president at 2:00 is going to talk about what the actions that he's taking to continue to lower costs.
But why do you think it is that when you say the economy is improving and President Biden says the economy is improving, that a majority of Americans outside of this building are not buying it?
So here's the thing. When we walked into this administration, the economy was on a tailspin. That is the fact. Because of the last administration, because of the Trump administration, because of how they dealt with COVID and the pandemic, because they didn't have a comprehensive plan. The president came in, he passed the American Rescue Plan, which was able to get the economy back on its feet, which was able to open up small businesses were able to open up, schools were able to open up, and we understand what Americans have been feeling over the last 2-3 years. It's going to take some time. We get that. It's going to take some time, but it does not take away how we have seen the economy getting back on its feet. We actually had to fix the problem that we saw that the last administration left us.
But almost 3 years in office, inflation is up over 17% since President Biden came here. And you're saying that's still Trump's fault.
Inflation is moderating because of the actions that this president has taken.
Doesn't that just mean that prices are going up slower? They're still high.
It's going down. The prices are going down. If you look at for a perfect example, I mean, I just talked about last week how turkey prices, the cost for turkeys is going down, the cost for eggs is going down because of the actions that were taken. I just talked about supply chain and how that affects the economy, and that's because of the president's action that he's taken. And if you think about gas prices, it's down by $1.70 since its peak because of the actions that this president has taken. So we understand that people are still not feeling it. We get that. But doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to talk about it. Doesn't mean that the president at 2:00 is not going to talk about how he's lowering cost, right? And let's not forget what Republicans are doing on the other side of again, Pennsylvania Avenue. They're trying to increase healthcare costs. They want to get rid of Medicare. They want to get rid of Social Security. That is something that we saw them try to do at the State of the Union, right?
Wow. She should have to say this in front of people. Not journalists. She should have to say this in front of a crowd of people. She should have to go to Chicago and say this, and then New York, and then Louisiana. She should have to go, and then Texas. You should have to go all around America and say this. The guy's like, oh, it's up 17%. She's just like, he's just like, but it's up. And she's just like, it's down. It's going down. You can't. He's like, but it's up. No. It's down. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's actually, and I know people. Listen. I understand it's going down, and I understand that you can't feel it, but it's going to take some time. What are you saying? What are you saying? And that's why I have the last clip here, because, again, what she says in front of these people is never reality, and it never has to be said to the people living in reality. That's why I love that guy brought up, I love the way that guy was doing his questions. I gotta find out that guy's name. But when he brought up the people outside of this building, of this room, they don't see it that way. It's I guess it's just blatant lying. Because I'm trying to wrap my head around, like, how could she think that? I guess you're just making it up. I guess that's what her job is. You know? She's like, I'm just gonna lie, and I'm gonna say it's better than it's ever been, and as long as I keep saying that, it's fine. We'll get it there eventually. I don't know. I have no idea. Or maybe it's more sinister. Maybe it's like it's never going to be fine, and they're just like, I don't care. We're just gonna say it's fine, and we're gonna tell them that the border's secure. Screw it. Let's just tell them the inflation's down. Inflation's up there. Nah, it's down there. You're wrong. Look closer. It's down there somewhere. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And when you hear this right here, it all starts to set in even more. Listen to this. This is some reality. She should have to watch videos like this. So should Biden.
Cell phone is disconnected because I can't pay the bill.
Well, there's a lot of struggles going on now in this country with the food.
It's outrageous on all the prices.
These are the voices of struggling Americans just 2 weeks ahead of decisive congressional midterm elections, and they reflect the bitter toll of higher prices for groceries, gas, and rent, brought on by what Reuters polling has found to be the number one issue facing voters, inflation.
The everyday necessities that people take for granted you can't afford them anymore. And when you're stuck with nothing, what do you do?
Chrissy Zeffield is a 38-year-old mother of 3.
Oh.
She is between jobs and sleeping in her friend's basement in the Chicago suburb of South Elgin.
It's my air mattress that I purchased roughly about a month ago. Got it for a steal on Amazon for about $40.
Amid these hard times, she compares them to memories of better days under a Republican president.
I did see a huge difference in the economy and everything when our former president was in office. Our gas prices were down, food costs were great, shelves were actually stocked in the grocery stores.
Record inflation has undermined Democratic President Joe Biden's approval ratings, and Democrats are worried they could see Republicans take over both chambers of Congress in November. Speaking to Reuters in her friend's backyard, Zeffield reflects on the billions of dollars in military aid sent to Ukraine when there are so many needy people around her.
I have never seen somebody pour billions of dollars into another country and not its own, that is clearly hurting. I understand war is going on and this and that, but we got to think about our people first.
Economically, it's hurting us. Whether you call it whatever you want to name it, it's hurting all of us.
Daniel Ferrales is a 72-year-old retiree. He told Reuters he now regularly collects groceries from a Chicago food pantry, something that began during the pandemic and now persists because of inflation. He said he's planning to vote for a Democrat in November and worries what Republicans might do if they control Congress.
There's nothing wrong with the Republicans, but they don't seem to be wanting to give up anything. They just seem to want to keep it off for themselves. I mean, not for themselves, but to limit us and what we need. You know, and I can never understand that.
No, it's kind of hard, but we make do with it.
Chanel Davis is a 46-year-old who cares for both her children and grandchildren. She spoke to Reuters at a free clothing giveaway in Chicago. Her granddaughter was able to find a pair of secondhand sneakers.
And my grandbaby was happy for her little pair of shoes. And she's on the phone with her mother now saying, look what I got, Mommy, look what I got. You know, so all of this does account. It helps. It helps a lot.
Davis is undecided about how she'll vote, but she understands it's her responsibility to cast a ballot and make her voice heard.
Get out there and vote, everybody. Your vote counts. It does count.
I feel like we have done better whenever there has been a Republican in the House.
But Zeffield, who calls herself a political conservative and lives in a swing district, told Reuters she's unlikely to vote. She has other priorities. Right now, she is saving what little money she has to put toward car insurance, a new tire, and a tank of gas to drive and see her kids, who are living with their father.
I can't even pick them up to take them for ice cream. Just something as small as that. I miss them so much.
Man, reality sets in. I'm telling you, that whatever her name is, that press secretary, she should have to see stuff like this. Corinne Jean, she should have to see stuff like this. She should have to say that to those people, you know. But it's messed up because the people in power, these politicians. That's why I've always said, and I know it sounds like such a crazy idea, but I'm like, everybody who's in office, all the politicians, they should have to be regular people. They shouldn't get paid crazy amounts of money. And if you walk in worth $50,000 and you leave worth $50 million, you should get looked into. And if it has anything to do with like investing in things that you approved or signed off on or sponsored or co-sponsored, then there's going to be serious penalties for you, consequences, jail. I don't know. But they should have to go back into the public. Right now, like, you know that the White House, I think it's the White House, there's certain government buildings where they have tunnels to get to other buildings. They don't even have to go around the public, and it's for security needs, but it just keeps them more separated from the general population, which is what they want, which is why they're able to just do these things. You know, if you had to interact with a woman who's crying about the billions being sent to Ukraine, if you had to interact with that person, that avatar of a person multiple times a day, all the time, you'd probably reconsider doing it. But they keep them so far away. They're so split. that they're so far away that they don't even hear what regular people are saying. That's why she can be in this position saying, you know, it's actually really good and you just don't see it and it's just going to take a little time and it's fine. And in comparison to the general population, that woman who's saying that's rich, you know, the price of turkey went down. How much? Do you know how much everything else costs? Do you know what it's like to live in a basement apartment or anything? Like, you don't understand what you're saying. You're just like, oh, the turkey went down a little bit. What about gas? What about houses? What about buying a house? Interesting. But honestly, that first clip that I showed you guys, it gives me hope. Seeing that these people are using words like gaslit and they understand that things are not good and they're not willing to be deceived anymore. And they're not going to go in for dumb stuff like this. Inflation's not that high. I didn't even know I was about to see that. Oh, good God. But they're not going to fall for stuff like that anymore. And that's great to see. You know, hopefully that helps them vote the right way. You know, I wouldn't say how anybody should vote. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. You know what I mean? Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and share. And other than that, I'm out.